Now, we are following the breaking news out of Afghanistan. Around 10 o'clock Eastern time this morning, we started getting reports about an explosion outside the Kabul airport. We've since learned that there have been 2 explosions in that area. You see on your screen here where the Hamid Karzai International Airport is, the Baron Hotel, and the Abbey Gate. We believe the explosions happened near the Abbey Gate, not far from the Baron Hotel. We know that there have been casualties. We know that there are Americans who were injured as a result of this, and reports have been coming in about what the numbers may look like at this point. Joe, let's run through the numbers that we have in terms of injured.
Yeah, and to be clear, the Pentagon has not given any numbers yet, so we have no official numbers from the Pentagon other to say that they can confirm that there have been some number of U.S. and civilian casualties. But NBC News has also heard from Taliban sources. They tell NBC News that it was a suicide attack that killed 13 people, including children and many others who were injured. Taliban also claimed that Italian military personnel were deployed at the gate where the blast took place, that U.S. officials moved their people inside the airport a few minutes before the blast occurred. Again, keep in mind, the source there is Taliban sources. Speaking with NBC News, we're still awaiting more information from the Pentagon, and we want to go to the Pentagon right now. Our Pentagon correspondent Courtney Cubie is there. Courtney, I know you've been checking in with your sources. What's the latest you can tell us about what you're learning about this?
So what we know so far is this was at least 2 explosions. The Pentagon's calling it a complex attack. And so what does that mean? That means that it's something that was in potentially more than one location, potentially more than one means of attack, and generally more than one attacker. So we know of at least 2 explosions here. One occurred at the Abbey Gate. It's on the far southeast side of the airport. The other one was at the Baron, or just outside the Baron Hotel. And just for perspective, it's about 150 meters. It's a straight shot from the Baron, the front of the Baron Hotel, to the Abbey Gate. It's an easy walk. And in fact, for that reason, a lot of Americans have been gathering there in recent days when they have permission to get through the Abbey Gate for these evacuation flights. There have also been other nationalities, other Westerners, including British, who've been gathering there. That is potentially one of the reasons that this was targeted in this way, is because it was well known to Westerners and frequented by Westerners. We don't have any kind of attribution yet at this point. There have been very specific threats that mirror exactly what we are seeing unfold here from ISIS in the past several days. U.S. officials have been warning about them since late last week or Saturday, and that's why we've seen what's been going on the ground, getting Americans and Afghans through the gates. That's why we've seen that process really change and evolve over the last week. There had been these large crowds gathered outside these gates for days. The big concern was that ISIS would take advantage of the crowds and the chaos there outside the gates to carry out some sort of an attack, whether it was to infiltrate the crowds with a suicide bomber, potentially drive in a vehicle-borne explosive device, what they call a VBIED, and blow it up, potentially injuring and killing many of the civilians who were there gathered, and also attacking the American military who are there at the Abbey Gate, the American consular officers who've been there working with the Americans. And then one of the big concerns was breaching the airport, creating a security concern along the perimeter and allowing potential people to get through onto the airport. So again, we don't have a good sense of the scale of this. We know there are casualties both among U.S. and Afghans. We don't know if the casualties mean both injured and killed. We're still trying to get to the bottom of that, and we don't have a good sense of whether that explosion at the Abbey Gate was able to breach the airport perimeter or not. Those are all the questions that we're still trying to get answers to here, Joe.